how's everybody doing? I'm sorry if this is boring to you guys, but this is incredibly important to the game and how you play the game. And if you play Trials, if you play whatever, the future of Destiny, if you play PvP, this is something I have to read, and people are going to ask my opinion about it. So it's better that we do this together. I do not like doing TWABs, for the record, but I do read some of them sometimes. And it's important information to keep track of. And typically I pay no attention to TWABs that are just fluff. But this shit is, these are details that are too important to pass up. All right, I'm going to read the TWAB real quick. Starting in Season 18, we will be introduced. So this is, okay. Well, what is this? Starting in Season 18, we will be introducing some changes in how we play Matchmaker in the Crucible. Took you long enough. This will be the first iteration that is part of a larger plan going through Season 19, our world systems. And I know that they said that they were not going to do anything with this. I know from a previous TWAB that this was on hold until Season 18. But holy shit, it has been literal hell playing this game. It's when you put off fixing something fundamentally broken in your game, I don't care if you tell me you're going to fix it 5 years from now. Those first 4 years are hell. This will be the first iteration that is part of a larger plan going through Season 19. Our world systems teams are leading the charge on this transition and are here with a big info dump on what to expect. This is huge, guys. This is huge. This is legitimately huge. Huge, some might say. Let's talk about skill and connection. We know this has been discussed with a lot of passion and goodwill in many places in the community and inside Bungie. So we are going to give you a clear TLDR before we get deeper into the how and why. We're striving towards a goal that all players, including new lights, can enter the Crucible and regularly get matches where they can feel competitive and have a reasonable chance of winning competing. Let me just say this. There are a lot of players out there who play video games, obviously, and you have an opinion of how things should be. If your opinion on how things should be is solely based on your own experiences and nothing else, then you're an ignorant son of a bitch and you need to shut your damn mouth. When I give feedback, when I rant, when I rage, when I do these things, I try. I'm not always successful, but I try to make sure it comes from a place of what's good for all players, not just me. Sure, it sucks to be killed by something. Sure, it sucks to lose matches. Sure, it sucks to whatever. But if it's good for all players, then that moment will pass. But when it's consistently bad and there's no escaping it, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you are, that's when it's fucking bad and players will leave and I talk about it. And this, you guys have noticed that this is the one thing that I yell about more than anything else is matchmaking / lobby balance. Because it's bad for all players. And because it's bad for all players, you lose all players. So there's a lot of people out there that, you know, yell and bitch about things. Or the opposite is true. It's fine for me. What are you bitching about? I have no problems. What are you bitching about? Shut the fuck up. Let the grown-ups talk. So this is huge. This is very, 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 very huge. And when you watch these videos, one of the reasons why I love going through these videos is these videos showcase moments that were awesome. And when these moments become less and less and less and less due to whatever reason, because people aren't playing or because the game is bad or because it's boring or because the meta or whatever, then it's a problem. Not just for me, but for all players. We're striving towards a goal that all players, including new lights, can enter the Crucible regularly, get matches where they can feel competitive, and have a reasonable chance of winning competing. Yes. Yes. I agree. Golf clap. I think that is... Everybody should know that. I think everybody would agree with this. I don't think any one person would say this is a dumb goal. Making fair matches using skill-based matchmaking is going to be important to help meet that goal. Yes. 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 I agree. I agree with that on one condition that I will talk about later. But I agree with this. I have always agreed with this on one condition. We're starting by implementing loose skill-based matchmaking. Loose. And this is where things fall apart. Loose skill-based matchmaking to the control playlist at the start of Season 18. Now, I'll explain why this is an issue. Loose skill-based matchmaking has a wider starting skill similarity than survival, and should result in matching with a wider variety of players, while also eliminating some of the frustrations we see in our current system. This is all hypothetical. Right here, this is where I start to not trust the words on the screen. Because I agree with the goal, but here we are 8 years later, and even though this has always been a goal, it has not worked. Expect loose, skill-based matchmaking to expand to other playlists in future seasons as we tune what we consider a high-quality match. High-quality match. High-quality match. High-quality match by gathering real data and feedback from you. Feel free to call me up, Bungie. I will give you, outside of a stream, I will give you nice level-headed responses and feedback on what you need to do and what's going wrong and what's going right. We are not planning to add it to every match-made Crucible playlist. Okay, that was my condition. This is my condition right here. We will continue tuning until we are in a good place. We will report tuning updates regularly. We will be implementing a form of fireteam size preferred matchmaking in Season 19. This is all good. I am back on board with all this. I am back on board with all of this as long as it works properly. That's my condition. I'll tell you the condition that I was talking about up here with the loose skill-based matchmaking real quick. Here's the issue. Bungie... My biggest criticism when it comes to Bungie and how they handle things is that Bungie is like your girlfriend. Extremes. Think about, and I know there's a lot of Destiny players out there that have never had a girlfriend and never will. True story. I see you guys in trials. But Bungie, the joke is, and it is a joke, that Bungie, the way they handle things is they fix it with a hammer, right? They're developers that go to extremes, right? And the reason why I said think of it like your girlfriend. Have you ever ridden with somebody in the car who, like, in the winter, what's your heat set on? Full blast. It's either off or high. Off or high. Off or high, right? Cold water or scalding hot water. There is a warm. People like warm. There is a sweet spot. It doesn't have to be all or nothing every single fucking time. Right? And so many times that's what happens with this game, is it is one extreme or another. Right? That happens all the time. And there needs to be sweet spots. And one of the problems with skill-based matchmaking is that when it's on, it's on. And you're not going to be able to please everybody. Budget needs to know that. Players need to know that. You are not going to be pleased in every and all scenarios. Okay? So, when skill-based matchmaking is on, guess who's upset? Higher skilled players. Why? Because every fucking game is a sweat fest. That's how it goes. Skill-based matchmaking. You have to use the skill that you have. When skill-based matchmaking is off, guess who's happy? The higher skilled players. Well, when it works properly. Well, that's a whole nother topic. Skill-based matchmaking, the higher skilled players, their problem with it is when I want to relax, there is nowhere I can go. And that is a true story. Because what Destiny lacks, even with Trials of Osiris active right here tomorrow or whenever, even with Trials of Osiris active, Destiny does not have a true ranking mode. Ranked mode. What is this? Elimination down here? You go into other games, all right? You go into other games. If I load up Apex Legends, guess what? I can do ranked. I can go in there and I can climb that ladder. And it's an accomplishment to climb that ladder, to get that Apex Predator rank, right? If I want to do that in Rainbow Six, guess what? There is a ranking system where I can climb that ladder. If I want to do that in Overwatch, guess what? There is a ranked mode. A lot of games have that. Destiny does not. And so when ranked mode is on, when skill-based matchmaking is on, if you're a higher skill player, there's no avoiding it. Every game is like the Destiny Olympics. And Destiny needs a mode, and this is where you need to, like, Trials is half-baked. You need to focus, like, you can't just do all or nothing, everything, everywhere, always, at all times. You need a casual mode, and you need a ranked mode. And then people can pick and choose where they want to go. Well, badass, isn't Trials that competitive skill-based mode? No, it's not! Because this doesn't work properly either. Anyway. So they have a problem on their hands where they have all these different modes to choose from. And it's like everything is all or nothing in every single mode, right? You can't escape it. You can't escape the meta. You can't escape the bad lobby balancing. You can't escape all that stuff. And so as much as I agree with all of this, it will be interesting to see how they go about implementing it. Because number one, you're not going to make everybody happy. But number two, you have to try. You have to have places where people can escape skill-based matchmaking. You have to have a place where the skill-based players want to go to rank up, to level up, to climb that ladder, to, and Trials just doesn't have that. Trials is a different beast altogether. The loot in Apex Legends, like, the loot is the rank. Anyway, I'm curious. Curious to see how this goes. High quality match. What does that mean? What does a high quality match mean to them? Is that 92% chance of losing match that I usually end up in? Oh, Read on, badass. It's right here. We developed some goals which we will be working on over the next few seasons. All players, including new lights, can enter the Crucible and regularly get matches where they can feel competitive. True. All players, whether solo or with a fire team, can find a place in the Crucible where they can play a variety of matches and have a reasonable chance of winning competing. Thank you. We are defining reasonable as expected win rate between 40 and 60% for most matches. Thank you. I would agree. I would agree to that. 60% chance of losing is still doable. Players are rewarded based on their skill and proud of their skill. I agree. It took you long enough. Reserve a place for players who do not want to engage. Holy shit, they read my mind. So they'll never do a forge mode because they don't have that. There's no way they're going to give us those tools. That's a programming disaster. That we will never get a forge mode in Destiny. But what they could do, what they could do is they could give us additional options and sliders to mess with in the private match settings. It's ridiculous that, like in Halo, if I go into Halo Infinite, we did this in our games. I can adjust all the different sliders. Even though Halo does not have a forge mode, I can go in there and I can adjust all the different sliders right here. So I can do how many times we respawn. I can do how much health we have, how much overshield we have. I can do how much ammo we have. I can turn off weapons. Like, this is stuff that could easily be added to Destiny. Period. Damage resistance ratio. You don't have to give us forge mode. You can just give us options. And then we could create our own types of matches and modes from that. Forge is not in Halo yet, and we can do that right now. Anyway, let me read the rest of this. Reserve a place for players who do not want to engage in the skill system. So they read my mind. So this, again, I was right. I haven't read this yet. But I'm glad it's taken them 8 years. Like, this is no-brainer kind of stuff. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I've been playing video games long enough to know what a player who plays with all sorts of different people, what they expect from the game that they're playing. And this, it's taken too long. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I love Destiny. I love Bungie. I love the games that they put out. But we should not be talking about this kind of stuff 8 years down the road in a sequel. Destiny 2. So you don't get a pass from me for this. Had we had this kind of stuff, when Destiny 2 first came out, we should have been talking about this. I'm pretty sure we did talk about this in Destiny 1. So this is why I don't get my hopes up that much, because we're 8 years down the road. This is a new group of people telling us the same things we heard, 6 years ago. Rise of Iron, all that kind of stuff. This has always been the goal. And a lot of times they tell us this kind of stuff so that we all get our hopes up that this time it's going to be different. I hope it is. I genuinely hope it is. This is always the goal. Why have we never hit the goal? Why has it been so bad for so long? Why wasn't this a priority 4 years ago? Like, I love Witch Queen. I love Forsaken. I love some of the stuff that we've done, but this should have been a priority a long time ago. And okay, can't change the past. It's still a priority now. Let's see what you do with it. 40 to 60% chance for matches, that's good. All of this is good. All of this is good. I am on board for all of this. This is them. This is the stuff I've been saying for years. And this is why Here's the thing, chat. I've been playing this game for, like I said, it came out in 2014. I've been playing this game for 8 years, longer than 8 years. Okay? And if you go back and if you listen to this kind of stuff, here's what's really frustrating for me. Okay? If you look at a lot of the stuff that I've been venting about, a lot of the stuff that I've been yelling about, sure, I've yelled about it. Sure, I've thrown in some swear words about it. But I've been right. The stuff I've been saying is true. Everything I've been saying is true. It could have come from a nicer place, sure. But all this shit that people going all the way back to when Destiny 2 first came out. Crucible. Why Destiny 2 Crucible sucks. And I've been holding off on this 25 reasons why Destiny 2 Crucible is the worst. I've been holding off on why it's the worst PvP ever invented. And, you know, some of this stuff is on the list. Balance, broken maps, AFK teammates, forced metas, broken spawns, no competent competitive ladder ranking system, lobby balancing, all this stuff that's on this list. I've been right about. And people have hated me for the things that I've said. People have literally hated me for the things that I have said because I've said this, but I've thrown in some swear words because hashtag we're listening. Okay, again, this is no-brainer stuff. That should have been, this, I would say the same thing for Rainbow Six. I would say the same thing for fucking Fall Guys. I would say the same thing for Fortnite. I would say the same thing for Halo Infinite. I would say the same thing for Apex. The things that I've been saying about the game that people have left my streams, people have left my community, people have hated on me, talk shit about me. People have said I'm toxic. People have talked shit about me on Twitter. People have, like, all the shit, the opinions of me. Sure, I have said it from a place of anger and frustration sometimes. But the developer agrees with me. And I'm not saying they're doing it because of me. I would never say that. But that's what's frustrating. Is if you don't like it, don't play it. You're welcome. I'll be the bad guy for you. I'll voice what the fuck is wrong with this game so that we get this. And again, this is I'm not taking credit for this at all. I'm just the messenger. And I said a couple weeks ago, I've seen a lot more people on Reddit and other places voicing the same things that I have. That is my goal. That is my mission. When I'm yelling about something, if you hear me yelling about the same thing over and over and over again, it's because it's a problem that needs to be fixed. And I need other people to hear what I'm saying and take that message and amplify it. That's why I yell it. Amplify the message. Make it, the squeaky wheel does get the oil, chat. Amplify the message. The best thing you can do is if you agree with what I'm saying, amplify it. Don't be mean about it. Don't be shitty about it. Don't be a fucking toxic cesspool where you're sending death threats and stuff. Those people can go fucking play in traffic. Amplify the message. Give feedback. Take what I say and write up a nice flowery post about, put it in nicer terms, right? But those people that were mad at me for the stuff that is now being put in the game that I was right about, they're not going to come back and say, you know what, badass? You were right and I'm sorry. And that's what sucks. Because I'm not the type of guy to just be quiet and just like pretend like everything's okay. I physically cannot do that. And this to me makes it worth it. And if there is a pubic hair of a chance that some developer heard me or saw one of my videos about lobby balance or rigged matches or whatever, and they're like, okay, well, you know, this guy sucks, but maybe we should look into that, then it was worth it. Because that's what it's about. This is what it's about. And maybe this was going to be put on hold until season 20. Or I'm sorry, maybe this, not the raid. Maybe this was going to be put on hold until season 19. But maybe because I was yelling about it so much and because other people were like, yeah, he's fucking right. And other people started posting, you know, posts on Twitter and the forums and Reddit and all that kind of stuff. Maybe instead of season 19, maybe they're like, guys, this has got to be more of a priority. We're losing players. They're, you know, let's bump it up to season 18. Whatever. And maybe I had zero impact. Maybe I had zero fucking impact. And maybe I am blacklisted and banned and muted and whatever. And that's fine. I'm just glad that this is happening, because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about right here. And I hope that it works properly. I really, really, really do. Because when Destiny 2 works and when Destiny 2 is good, it is one of the best games I've ever played. Which is why it's so fucking bad when it doesn't. That's it. I hope all of you guys understand that. And when you sit there and when you're like, why are you playing Destiny 2 if you hate it? Right here. This is why. This is why. Because maybe, just maybe, my experience and what I yell about will lead to some sort of change that will make the game a little bit better. That's it. That's it. So, goals of creating high-quality matches. We developed some goals, which we will be working on over the next few seasons. All players, I already read all this. Reserve a place for players who do not want to engage in the skill system. Good. I agree. I am on board. It's like they read my notes. I am on board with every single thing. Like every single thing I wanted, Chad, is right here. All of it. Every single thing I wanted is right here, except metas. We're not talking about metas. We're not talking about stasis. But everything I've wanted is right here. Let's say 90% of it is right here. This is the best TWAB I've ever read. Including, and honestly, this is why I've held off on the 25 reasons videos, because I was hoping that this would come. And I may not make that video now, because this is all I wanted. And I know things take time. There's a guy named Joe Blackburn who works at Destiny, or Bungie, sorry. He's one of the top guys. Great guy. He does the raid stuff. He tweeted out a tweet about, if we take too long on this line item, we're never going to get through the list. And that's what it comes down to. All right. If you read Reddit, you'll see a lot of posts of Bungie, please do this, do that. We want this. We want that. We want this. We want that. There's only so much time in a day, right? So if you were to make a list of all the things that need to be fixed or need to be added to the game, if you make a list and you go down that list and each one takes time, right? So where is matchmaking lobby balance on that list? Is it number 5 on the list? Because if so, then we only got to knock out 4 things before we fix that, right? But if it's number 352 on the list because 351 is an emote wheel, then guess what? Fuck your emote wheel. You don't need it. This is more important, right? So that's why these things voicing how important they are and voicing how broken they are and voicing that, even if it gets it moved up the list, and instead of it being number 352, maybe it climbs up to number 60. That's what it's all about, right? We don't need the emote wheel. We need this. We don't need better fashion. We need this. Anyway. Okay, so expect loose skill-based matchmaking to expand to other playlists in the future seasons as we tune what we consider a high-quality match. We're not planning to edit to every match-made mode. That's good. All of this is good. All of this is good. We will continue tuning until we are in a good place. That's expected. We will report tuning updates regularly. Thank you. We will be implementing a form of fire team size preferred matchmaking in Season 19. Perfect. I have suggested that multiple times. Goals of creating high-quality matches. We already talked about this. 40 to 60%. That's good. All of this is good. All of this is good. Reserve a place for players who do not want to engage in the skill system. All of this is good. All of this is good. Generally speaking, any matchmaking in a competitive multiplayer game tries to put together high-quality matches. Yes, duh. We consider 3 things when assembling a high-quality match. Yes, there are 2 types of connections that are important. Connection to the game server. Yes. Connection to all other players in the match. Yes. Generally, bad connections to other players have a larger effect in Crucible than connections to the game servers. Yes! So when we talk about connection quality in Crucible, we were talking about that. Connection from player to player. Yes! You've heard me yell about this, haven't you? Lower quality matches result in jerky movement by other players, missed shots, or getting unexpectedly damaged or killed. Yes! When fire teams are spread across the globe, we pick a single player's latency to speed up finding matches. Yes! This is important. People need to understand this. When fire teams are spread across the globe, we pick a single player's latency to speed up finding matches. Ideally, all players in a match have a reasonable chance to win that match, have similar skill. Yes, but that's not always what happens. Matchmaking speed. We always consider matchmaking speed as a key element. No one wants to wait 10 minutes. True. You know why? Because they will just stop matchmaking and restart it. Game development is hard. It's very, 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 very hard. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And it's not always going to be perfect. And sometimes you have to take the bad with the good. So, for example, if I've been doing open lobbies in the Crucible, all right? If I have somebody join my lobby who is in the UK, and then somebody else who is in California, and then someone else who is in Wisconsin, and then someone else who is in Ireland. These are all possible, by the way. Irish guy is in Ireland. Heckle Chris is in the UK. Chris is in California, and Smokey is in Minnesota. If I have all those people play with me, I'm East Coast, bad BTZ, badass time zone. They're going to pick my latency and base that on who we match up with. Does that make sense? So it is entirely possible that people in my fire team will lag. Anyway, that's getting into the matchmaking algorithm and criteria that you just don't know how they have that coded and how that's going to work. So it's still not going to be perfect, but it's a necessary evil in order to speed up finding matches. There's still going to be lag. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. When matchmaking, we must balance these 3 elements if we want to lower matchmaking speed. We're either going to need matches that are less fair or matches with lower connection quality. We'll continue tuning to find the best balance possible. There's not going to be a perfect scenario. That's the thing. So you can't go to the extremes. It can't be all or nothing. There's going to have to be a little bit of both. Skill. Throughout this TWAB, we'll be using the term skill in Destiny. That's not a thing. Every first hour, we rate all players who participate in PvP on a scale of 2,000. Player skill is reflected in a graph that looks like this. Interesting. Bad players. So, average. The average player base is right here. Right? And then below average players. Bad players. Right over here, you can't see it. Right over here are what Bungie gives me for teammates currently. Thank you, guys. You wonder why I'm so upset. These are my teammates right here. And over here on the other end, these are my opponents. These people right here are just here for the pinnacle. Cumulative percent of observations. I don't know what that means. Internally, skill is a combination of stats made up of your performance, kills, deaths. Interesting. Your skill level is made up of captures. This is interesting. I'm going to have to save this. Interesting. Kills, deaths, captures, round wins, revives, dunks. So I do everything on this list except for one. Captures. Remember when I was talking about being blacklisted in the game? And I said because of things that I do that are negative. It's not that there's any one person that is like actively whatever, but like quitting out of a match is probably a bad thing in their eyes. Vostok. Sorry. That ranks you against all other players in a match. Each player's skill is compared against the skill of the other players in a match. We make skill adjustments for all players at the end of a match where the two rankings differ. The only problem I have with this is not an... I don't know how they calculate this, but this is not always an accurate description of skill. A bad player, a camper, can have a lot of kills, captures, round wins, all that kind of stuff, but they're not that good. We'll see. I don't know. There's no perfect way of analyzing skill unless you had a ranking system. We make adjustments for all players at the end of a match where the two rankings differ. There is also a confidence rating. The more games the system has seen you in recently, the more confident the skill adjustment is. We see this in Halo Infinite with their ranking system. In addition to the stats mentioned above, skill encompasses all sorts of things. Your reaction. Interesting. In addition to the stats mentioned above, skill encompasses all sorts of things. Your reaction times. I didn't know they could calculate that, but I can see how they could. Agility. How you approach fights. How well you know the map mode. How well you know your character. How you build your character. The weapons, armor, and mods you use. And how you blend all of these into performance with other players. Really? I wonder how they rate that. How would you go about rating this? This is super interesting, guys. This is the stuff under the hood that I didn't know. I knew they kept track of this, but I didn't know that they calculated this into your skill. Interesting. You won't ever actually see a skill value in game, and while we are currently... Because you could cheese this, that's why they won't show it to you. You could see where you're deficient, and you could like, okay, if I'm short on captures, then I'm going to do that more. Or you could tank it or whatever. You could game the system. And while we are currently only using it to try and get fair matches in survival and elimination, we still track for it in all modes. Including Gambit. Wait, people still play Gambit? You know it's bad. You know it's bad when the developer has to remind people that Gambit is actually in the game. This gives us a reasonable starting spot in new game types like Rift or Zone Control. But yeah, I suck in Crucible. I just go in and do my 3 matches and get out. That's okay, Leah. But what I tell everybody is just because you feel like you suck doesn't mean you have to continue to suck. Every video game you play, if you really want to get better at it, there are ways you can get better at it. And your investment and practice is what determines whether or not you suck. And if you're okay with where you're at in the game, then that's okay. You do you. You be the best you want to be. Before I was actually going to make a video called top 10 excuses for dying. I still might make that video. I have some of them, but in that video it was going to show a pyramid or a triangle, right? And on one it was going to say career, and on the other it was going to say social life, and on the other it was going to say skill in a video game, and it was going to say pick 2. Maybe I'll still make that. I'll commission that triangle, but that's how it goes. You know, sometimes you can't be good at a video game because you're too busy with life and your career and your social or whatever. And sometimes people are like, you know what? I fucking want to be good at a video game, so fuck a job and a social life. That's just how it goes. And so the top 10 excuses for dying video was going to give people go-to excuses for why they died. I still might make that video. Don't steal my ideas. I'll sue you. Anyway. Let me finish reading this. You won't ever see a skill value in the game. And while we are currently only using it to try and get fairer matches, blah, blah, blah. Now, how do these skill numbers actually play out in game? Here's a good shorthand we use internally. If someone is 200 skill above you, you can definitely tell they are better than you, and they will win 75% of engagements against you. True. Why? Because they know their character well. They know their build. They have a build, triple 100 stats, the weapons, the armor, the meta, the mods, all this kind of stuff goes into their skill. Skill is not just aim in Destiny. Skill is not just hitting your shots. Skill in Destiny is, this is perfect, guys. I was actually going to make a video on this too. Skill in Destiny is about your reaction times, your agility, how well you move around the map, how you approach fights, your map knowledge. Don't capture B. This is why you hear me yell about this kind of stuff. I'm educating you. Grabbing heavy, how well you know your character, how well you build your character. All this kind of stuff goes into this 2,000 skill level players. Top percentage of players are going to be doing these things. And if someone is at 200 skill above you, cough, cough, the urine ranking in Destiny Tracker, you can definitely tell they are better than you because they use every tool at their disposal for those things. They will win 75% of engagements against you. Yeah, classy restoration. No 200 skill player, no max skill player, no top 1% player is walking around in white armor with Kvostov 7G. None of them are. Has anybody ever seen a top 1% player without a build? Anybody? Raise your hand. Are you out there? I would love to see them play a match in Destiny solo, white weapons, white armor, no builds, in trials. Where you at? Skillful players. They don't exist. Because that would be foolish. You would have to be a badass to do something like that. Anyway, the opposite is true. If someone is 200 or more below you, yes. Correct. And on top of this, they'll probably mention this before. Even if you are equal skill level, like let's say it's less and it's only 50, say you're only 50 above skill level of another player, but you're in a fire team and you got a teammate, you guys are communicating, that makes things different. Team shooting makes things different. Anyway. By the time you get to a difference of 400, the better players are going to win 90% of engagements, and lower skilled players need to get extremely lucky to pull off a win. Yeah, this is my destiny tracker right here. This is every Crucible match. So if you know this, Bungie, if you know this, why have you allowed matches? Okay. Here was my team. Me, and 2 bronzes, 1186. This is trials, by the way. 84% chance of winning. So again, it's a travesty that this was happening for so long. This is basic video games, guys. This is not a startup company. Bungie is not, like, I love them. But you guys just celebrated 30 fucking years in game development. You made Halo. This is not new shit. This is not like, oh my God, I never realized this or never thought about this before. You just said yourselves that if somebody, by the time you get to a difference of 400, 90% of the games, yeah, 895 versus 1186. 737 going up against a 12. This is 500. This player is 500. This is why it's okay to yell about this shit. 879 versus 1100 versus another 1100. This is a travesty. This is not okay. And that's why, with full confidence, I've been saying rigged matches, because this is not new shit. This is not intro to video game design. This is not a new company. This is no-brainer kind of shit on a sequel. Anyway. I think I beat that dead horse enough. You're going to need to get extremely lucky to pull off a win. Yeah. By the way, let's go back to the Destiny tracker. And I remember how I mentioned when we go up against PC players, it's a different story. Alpha had an 85% chance of winning. So even though I'm getting people on my team, open lobby from the chat, okay? We're still 1687, 1387. 1687, 1387. This team over here is 300 above us. They are 300 above us. Okay? This is why I was losing my shit. Because we were playing against people, even though it was an open lobby. 1473, 1737. Bravo had an 82% chance of winning. You guys see this? This is why it was so important that we get heavy, that we do these things, because this is not a good time. This is not a fair match. Even though we're on a fire team, we were not communicating with each other. Even though we were on a fire team together, this was matchmaking, giving us a loss, handing us a loss. We're not going to win this match unless we all get in a group together, in a fire team, in Discord, and talk about it and strategize. This is not going to happen. Even over here, these losses. We left that map because it was a bad map. 1502. 1502 against urine level players. 1821. And this is why I'm a little bit more strict when I have people from PC join me. I probably matching off Dragon Phoenix and Monty and Gemini. But this is what happened. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, if you noticed that or not when we did open lobbies the other day. Anyway, once you get to a difference of 600, there's basically a 0 chance for the lower skill player to ever win a 1v1 conflict. Yes. This is not new stuff. It's not like Bungie was just notified of this yesterday and they're like, hurry up, we got to do something about this. This is basic video game design. If you go to Valorant, if you go to Apex, if you go to Overwatch, the developers there are going to know this. They're gonna have similar rankings. That's why it's unacceptable that this has been the game for how many years now? Again, I know I've yelled a lot about this, and I know I've turned off a lot of viewers to this, but you guys need to know how fucking broken this game has been for years. I don't apologize for it because it's not okay. And I know there's a lot of people that stopped watching because I was in a bad mood. This is why, guys. This is why. You can come back. You're more than welcome to come back and start watching again. I know a lot of people left. It's not me. It's not me. And it's not you. It is Bungie, Destiny. It was them. It's a shame. I got to get this across to you guys. It's a shame that there are people that want to watch me play Destiny, and this is what I was dealing with. This entire time, for the last couple of years, this is what I've been dealing with on a regular basis. Once you get to a difference of 600, there's basically 0 chance the lower skilled player is ever going to win a 1v1. Well, what if the player I'm going up against is 200 skill above me, but he's in a fire team, and it's in trials, or it's in quick play, and they know who I am. And that fire team that is 200 above me is all gunning for me. You think that's going to be a good stream, everybody? You think that's going to be a good time? This is the last 2 years, if not more, of my experience in Destiny. And I had people that fucking... Never mind. It is what it is. We'll get past it. Brighter days ahead, chat. And this is why it's important that you never base your entire streaming career off of one game. Because if your one game is fucking broken, then you have nothing to fall back on. I have said from the beginning, I will always play Destiny for you guys. I will always give you the most entertaining streams I possibly can. But how can you do that when the game is fundamentally broken? You can't. You can't. And I hope to God that it's fixed. But in case it's not, you guys, please, I beg you to watch me play other games. Fortnite. I'm going to play Fortnite tonight because John Cena's in Fortnite, everybody! I'm going to play Fortnite tonight. I'm going to play other games, and this is why it's so important. It has nothing to do with I never want to play Destiny again. It has everything to do with don't put all your eggs in one basket. If we're going to grow as a community, if we're going to grow as a stream, if we're going to grow as a family, then we have to appeal to the widest possible audience, and that's not Destiny only. I will always play Destiny. I promise, guys, I will always play Destiny. But if it's not good, it's not going to get all my time. It's not going to get most of my time even. And this is why. This is why. It's taken way too long to get to this place, and we still don't know. The proof is in the pudding. We still don't know if it will work properly right away. It still may be 2 years off where it's good. I genuinely hope it is. I genuinely hope Destiny 2 is fucking amazing. I will be the first person to make the most epic fucking video. I have a list of videos that are on hold until it's good. because nobody wants to watch amazing videos when it's bad. Why would I blow my load when the game's bad and nobody gives a shit about it? I got some epic fucking amazing videos. Badass, are you gonna ever make another What You Missed? Yeah! Yes! When the game is good. I promise. I promise. I promise it's on hold until the game is good. Don't blame me. It's waiting. It's waiting. Top 10 things noobs do in Destiny. Part whatever we're on now. Yes! Yes, it's on hold and it's waiting until this shit gets in order. I promise you guys. Anyway. Engagement should get fairer the closer you get to the same skill. This is our goal. I'm on board, man. You guys... I am rooting for you guys at Bungie. I am rooting for you guys. I am rooting for you guys. I will let you know when you fuck up, but I am rooting for you guys. I am rooting. I want this game to be fucking amazing. And I know it won't always be amazing. And I know there's going to be times when I'm frustrated and I get my ass kicked. But if it's amazing, then people want to play it. And if people want to play it, there are things to do. There are ideas that come out of that. The game evolves. It gets better. New players come in. When it's good, the population grows, right? Anyway, as we start looking at the competitive landscape in Destiny, we noted a few things. Outside of survival and elimination, the ability to influence whether your team wins or loses is usually out of your personal control if you are average skill or below. Half the population. Yes. Yes. Yes, you know why this is also? Average skill and below. I've been doing the New Light campaign, and I told you guys that Destiny applied this theme where it was, when it went free to play, and with the seasons, and with the living game, and with... They made a statement a long time ago, unlock or unhide the fun, right? What they want in this game, and the reason why I went free to play it, was to encourage and to attract new players. That's how you get new players. And even though I'm on board for that, there is a downside to that if you don't compensate. And what they do is they show new players all these shiny things that they can have with the goal of converting those new players to lifers. And with the grind and with how this game is built right now, it is incredibly unfriendly to the average player. And so they dip out. When you have a job, when you have kids, when you have a family, when you want to play other games, you leave. And so that affects the game and the population. So you got new players or you got lifers. There's a lot less of the in-between. And if there are, it's a little bit fewer of them. They're new players that are growing to average players on their way to lifers, but they're at a critical point where, is this worth it? Because you're going up against lifers with builds and stuff. They gotta come up with a solution for this problem space. Anyway, this can feel bad as the match outcome feels essentially random. It's not. It's not random. You don't feel motivated to try and win. There's a lot of reasons for this. I would love to talk with the Bungie team about this. I feel like there's some stuff that they are missing with their game. And maybe they know about it, but they don't know how big of an impact it is. Or they know about it, and it's one of those, that's the game. It's never going to change. It's like building in Fortnite, right? Building in Fortnite is a mechanic that was in the game that turned off players and made them leave because it was never going to go away. There are things in Destiny that are in the game that are just there and they may never go away. And a player looks at those things and says, not worth it. This has contributed to us de-emphasizing winning as a requirement to gain rewards in the Crucible. I can see that. I can understand that. I can understand that. But you know what happens when you contribute to us de-emphasizing winning as a requirement? Then you reinforce I'm just here for the pinnacle. And when you try to do these things, you're really, really, really slow to fix problems, especially in PvP. And PvP has suffered. And you're not going to get those players back, by the way. I hate to break this to you, but you guys have been so slow with your fixes and your adjustments for Crucibles. There are players that are never going to come back. They're invested in other games. Sorry, no new maps, no new modes. It's just whatever. Current landscape also allows brand new players to match up with some of the highest skilled veterans and are expected to compete. Yes. On the flip side, if you are highly skilled, you are often put on a team where it feels like you are carrying them and must constantly perform if you want to stand a chance of winning. Hey, what's up? This doesn't feel good for anyone. Right. So again, why is this, if you know this and if you agree with this, this is literally what I've been saying. If you know this, why is it taking so long? Seriously. I would love to just ask the question. I get Witch Queen makes you money. I get the Eververse makes you money. I get all these things have been higher importance, but you don't think that by you guys not doing anything about this for years, you don't think that there are a shit ton of players that have left the fucking game? I feel like this kind of shit should have been way higher up on your list of priority. This TWAB should have been 2 years ago. Just should have. And this is why stasis was such a fucking problem. And why builds are such a fucking problem. It just is. It just is. Put the pieces together. As much as you might like builds, you might love your classy restoration. You might love your Lorelei helmet. You might love all the stuff that you got going on for you. But keep this kind of shit in mind. Again, what I started off the beginning of the TWAB by saying, you can't just say, well, it's not a problem for me. I have no problem. So why are you bitching? Because of this. Because of this. Because of how the game is built. In Control, the skill disparities on a team can be stark. Over 50% of matches have a skill disparity of 900 or more between the best and worst player. Yeah. Which is so significant that the outcome is already known before a single shot is fired. Yeah! Yeah! As a wise man once said, yeah! Chat. I was one of the people that stopped playing because of that reason, for sure. You mean we get to keep Iron Banner control? Yeah, I know, right? So like it's not just one thing in video games. It's a lot of things. And sometimes there are like so many things that cause something to be bad that just fixing one, that's why I was going to make this list. And maybe now I'm back on board. Maybe I do make this 25 reasons. And the whole purpose was the 25 reasons. The whole reason why I wanted to make that is to show that it's not just one thing that makes Crucible bad. And fixing one fucking thing is not going to make it amazing. There are a lot of things that make an experience bad. All right? Over 50% of matches have a skill disparity of 900 or more between the best and worst places. Best and worst player, which is so significant that the outcome is already known before a single shot is fired. On the other hand, in freelance survival, 60% of matches have a 250 skill difference or less. This is much more reasonable. Control. Let me just say this. Control is and will always be a night and day different mode than survival. You cannot, apples and oranges, you cannot compare skill levels of survival people to skill levels of control people. You can't. You can't compare the two. You can't. You fucking can't. This entire paragraph should have been thrown out. You can't. Can a good player play good in control and play good in survival? Yes. Can a bad player play good in control and play bad in survival? Yes. Different modes. You just talked about way up here about how your performance in knowing the mode matters. Okay? Control, and especially when control, people are so fucking, you don't even mention burnout. People are so fucking sick of control that they don't even capture zones. I'm going to play like shit in control, but guess what? I'm going to play as good as I can in survival because it matters. You can't compare them. This is much more reasonable. It's because of the mode, not just the player. This is where your data, this is where you have to apply logic to your data. You can't just look at your analytics. You can't just look at your Excel, your spreadsheet and say, A equals B. You can't just do that. You have to apply some deductive reasoning and some critical thinking to your analytics process. You have to have some experience in the modes to know how people play. You have to know that in control, because people can't fucking escape control, because control has been your core playlist for 30 fucking years. Why can't I open? Is Destiny crashing? Probably. Because control has been your core playlist that you funnel people through for 30 years and they don't even want to play it, that they're not going to try hard in control as they would in survival. You have to know that. Your Excel spreadsheet, your CSV, whatever data point you use is not going to asterisk that skill level and say, hey, badass was listening to music and he really doesn't want to play and he really doesn't want to capture zones and he doesn't really want to try, but it's for the pinnacle and he's got to get his light level up for the raid that's coming out in whatever days. Where's that data point? You don't know that because you don't know why I'm going in there. Anyway, these wide variances in skill can lead to more mercy games than you would expect. For example, control. Doesn't matter. Wide disparities in skill also exasperate other problematic elements. With wide disparities in skill, trapping a single team in a spawn is significantly easier. Yeah. Again, control. This doesn't happen as much in survival. With wide disparities in skill, it's more likely that most of one team is dead at the same time. Yeah! Where's Lil Jon at? Yeah! Freeing the other side up to roam around and look for new targets without having to worry about danger. Hold on, please.
Two for one.
Watch this. Hammer. Dead. It's great. It's great. Bring the other side up to roam around and look for new targets without having to worry about danger. Correct. Super o'clock, too, by the way. Again, not just skill level, not just map knowledge, but also metas and also supers. You have things in the game like supers that can clear an entire team. So you say that it is more likely that most of one team is dead, okay, as if it's skill. But you have a super in the game that will wipe the entire team if they are, if they want to. Even a bad player can wipe a team. There's just a lot that goes into this. Because of these extreme factors, no matter what your skill, it becomes hard to tell if you are improving or not. Was that a great player, or are they just worse players than me? Well, I can answer this question. Was that a great play? Did I do it? Then yes. Are they just worse players than me? Did they kill me accidentally? Yes, they must be worse player than me. You may quite reasonably look for other stats to demonstrate how good you are. Kills, assists, and deaths. KDA. But it's still unclear how good your opponents are. Given that matchmaking is dependent on lots of factors. Listen, everybody that plays this game, when you play this game, you can tell. Again, going up to these things up top. Movement. Capturing zones. Grabbing heavy. Using different weapons. I can tell if a player is better than me or on par with me or worse than me based on how they act. For instance, if a player is using a fusion rifle, this is not shit talking that player. This is just experience talking. If a player is using a fusion rifle, okay, and he's crouched behind a corner waiting for me to come around the corner, and he kills me, okay, that's my fault just running around with, you know, careless, and he got that camping kill. Okay, if it happens the second time, later on in the game, and he's usually around the same spot, by time number 2, I know that's a pattern. 2 times in a row is a pattern. Okay? Now, if he kills me with a fusion rifle, and then I see him somewhere else in the map, and he kills me with a hand cannon or a sniper or a pulse rifle or a scout rifle, then he's got me guessing, right? Then I don't know what to expect from that guy. No pattern. But if I go to the same spot the third time and he's killed me twice in the same spot with a fusion rifle, guess what I'm expecting? A fusion rifle kill. Right? And if I kill him, and he still tries to kill me with a fusion rifle, and he doesn't try anything different than that fusion rifle kill, then I know he's a bad player. And that's not to mock the player. That goes back up to this skill level. Your reaction times, agility, how you approach a fight. How do you approach a fight? Well, guess what? If I shoot with a fusion rifle and I miss, if I shoot with a shotgun and I miss, then guess what? I am going to react to what just happened. I'm either going to switch weapons. How many of you have done the quick access sling or whatever, or the hot swap, or you shotgun punch, or you snipe switch to a hand cannon? Like, as a player, when your skill level gets up, when your knowledge of the game gets up there, you rely on more than just your crutch, because a crutch is not going to work in every single scenario. And if a player is trying to square peg round hole me, trying to force his crutch to get the kill in a not optimum scenario, then guess what? I know he's a bad player, because I know he's trying to do something fucking stupid to kill me. And then I counter. Then I know what to expect. I know he's got, like, snipers. Snipers, usually, if you rush a sniper, they can't handle it because that's their crush. A good player can handle sniping and the rush. In baseball, they call it a five-tool athlete or whatever. You can play multiple positions. You're not just a one-trick pony. Same thing goes for video games. That's why their skill level is based not just on how many kills they get with their shotgun, their chaperone or whatever. Their skill level is based on multiple factors. Reaction times, agility, how you approach fight. All the things determine how good of a player you are. Anyway. So no matter what your skill level, becomes hard to tell if you're improving. Not true. I can tell if a player is better than me or not. He's hard to kill. A bad player, just everybody's better than you. It doesn't matter. Still unclear how good your opponents are. Given that matchmaking is dependent on a lot of factors, KDA in a low population situation can mean a very different thing skill-wise than the KDA in a normal high population scenario. Okay, yeah. You can also check third-party sites to track ELO. ELO isn't something we track, use, or validate, so it's use at your own risk data point. But it's close enough. It is close enough when Destiny Tracker can accurately predict based on urine colored ranking systems who's going to win, and they're right 99.9% of the time, and they use Elo, safe to say it's close enough to what you guys use internally. If you can't tell if you are improving, it's hard to be motivated to try and improve. True. We know that's why a ranking system, a ladder system would help with that. We know we have to do something to solve these problems and more to get Crucible into a better place. Yes. Again, we should have been having this conversation 2-3 years ago. We should definitely have been having this conversation before trials. And we should have been having this conversation before you put in a solo queue. Why would you put in a solo queue and not have this shit in place? Half-baked. This is why people mock you, by the way. We know we won't be able to address everything in one fell swoop in Season 18, but this will be the start of an ongoing process to improve PvP over time. And that's why it should have happened a long time ago. People would be much more patient. You wouldn't have been mocked or yelled at so much if this conversation would have happened years ago and would have been started and we could give feedback, then we might have been a little bit more patient instead of counting down how many days to a new Crucible match. And does anybody work in the PvP department? All that kind of stuff. Match balancing. Once we match a group of players into a lobby, assuming we don't have any full fire teams, we try and split them up into balanced teams. Really? Really? Well, anyway. Really? If the player skills are somewhat random, the system has a tough time. We tried several different algorithms here to mixed results. For the time being, we are hoping that reducing the skill variability in any given lobby will make this easier. You could have told us this. This is not like groundbreaking shit, but you could have told us this. That you were trying stuff in the background. Skill-based matchmaking and control. At the start of Season 18, we are going to start turning match fairness back up in control. And only control into the Crucible. We want to start slowly to limit the number of playlists we consider when tuning matchmaking with hundreds of thousands of people. We can do some testing, but nothing can fully simulate how full the population will be affected by these changes before we ship. Well, but you're also working with a smaller population pool because you took so fucking long, half the players left. So now they're on both extremes, like I said earlier. So you're, again, here we go. Your testing is going to be skewed. Like, let's say they do testing and control right now. Okay? And let's say they notice a pattern in control right now. Okay? The control population is what it is right now. But if a bunch of new players come in for Lightfall or for whatever other expansion or whatever, then it could skew that kind of stuff. So this is something that needs to be worked on regularly all the time. It can't just be set it and forget it type of stuff. Because it constantly sways depending on the player population, depending on the meta, depending on the content, depending on all sorts of different factors. It's not just one and done. But it's been one and done for a very long time now. Oh, thank you. We are going to be live tuning the matchmaking parameters over the first few weeks. Yeah, but you need to do that after you release content too. PvP is the life of Destiny. I know content is great. New content is awesome. We all love when new things come out in Destiny. That's when Destiny is at its best. Yes, 100%. But when the content is dry, people go into PvP. PvP keeps the game alive. And if you just gambit it and leave it to fester and rot and don't give it the time of day or the attention it needs, then your players will leave for other good games. So this live tuning has to be a thing. What works today and in today's meta might not work in a new meta. I don't know. Say they do come out with another darkness subclass where it's poison or whatever. What works today might not work down the road. We will not be touching any other Crucible playlist during Season 18. Trials has no planned changes to its matchmaking. What about solo queue? What about solo queue? Elimination and Glory will still use the same skill-based matchmaking they have been using, and everything else will still use the connection-based matchmaking they have been using for years. We are currently planning to make further adjustments in Season 19 based around the goals we listed above, but rest assured, any major changes will be communicated either a TWAB or blog post, as well as patch notes. One of the best things they could do in Crucible right now, on top of all this stuff, and I know this would be controversial, is fucking get rid of control. Get rid of control, get rid of clash, get rid of trials. Just give us some new modes. Just get rid of all that shit and do the testing in new modes that we've never played before. And there's a lot of them out there. We have done a lot of them out there. We've done a blitz mode. We've done an infection mode. We've done there's mayhem. There's all sorts of different things. Crucible is so fucking stale, nobody wants to play it even with the changes that they're making. Pain Train. I don't know where infection is. Protect the present, protect the princess. Gun challenges. All these different things. Where is infection? I don't think it's... Oh, well. Anyway, there's... You cannot tell me, first of all, I could easily come up with 25 different modes that they could put into the Crucible. Experimental labs types modes that some of them would be a hell of a lot of fun. Some of them would be stupid, dumb fun, whatever. I've mentioned them before. I've talked about the Dark Zone. I've talked about Infection. I've talked about Blitz, gun challenges, single weapons, big team battles, large free-for-all elimination, protect the present, all sorts of different things that we have done over the years. You could put all these types of modes in there. Okay? People are sick and tired of fucking control. Everything is fucking control. Give it up. For like one season, fucking delete control. Please? I know they would never will. I know it's their core activity. It's their bread and butter. But it fucking blows. People are tired of it. Just for one season, get rid of everything. Do something innovative. I don't know, like Gambit. And just drive everybody to a new fucking mode. Test all this stuff out. Give people something new to do in PvP. And then get rid of that for a couple weeks. Bring in Rift. Then get rid of that. Then bring in something different. Test. Lure people in with some sweet rewards. Get rid of that. Right? People are sick and tired of fucking control. Control. Get rid of control. For like one season. What do you got to lose? Players? You've already lost players! Anyway. That's part of the problem. You're testing shit in modes that people don't want to play. Good luck with that. Anyway. There's more to Destiny, there's more to video games than control. Look at Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 has different modes in there. Apex just put in the arena modes. You gotta evolve. This fucking game has to evolve. Yes, fuck control. How many of you want more control? Type in the chat, yes or no. Do you want to play control more? Anybody? Anybody? Aren't you sick and tired of control? this game, again, it could be amazing. There are so many different things. If you, Bungie, put some sliders in private matches, and I will give you 25 new ideas of PvP modes that you could introduce into the game that would lure players in. Do it. I dare you. Do it. Just give me sliders. Give me sliders in private matches, and I'll do the work for you. As usual. Because people are sick and tired of control. Connection-based matchmaking. Greatest of Danes! Thank you very much. Connection-based matchmaking is what most of the Crucible playlist utilizes to find matches that have the best possible connection quality. First way, identify and pull players, blah, 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 blah. No need to talk about connection-based matchmaking. That's just normal programming stuff. That's on them. Skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, we already know all that. Loose skill-based matchmaking is probably a combination of the two. Starts with a wider acceptable skill variance and then expands very slowly on both acceptable skill and connection. Yep. Goal. Start with a broad definition. Blah, 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 blah. We have an analytics hub to review overall matchmaking data each hour. We'll be monitoring and adjusting times and thresholds. Above all, we try to hone in. But this is I believe this is Cosmo, right? Cosmo, we love Cosmo. Control is generally a nice high population playlist, so it will be a good test bed for tuning like this. I get that. You know why it's a nice high population playlist? Because it's easy, and the other options that we have are dog shit. What are our other? It's a nice high population playlist. What? Like people are gonna go choose Team Scorched? Wait a minute. What else are they gonna go play? Showdown? Oh, hold on. Maybe the reason why it's a high population playlist is because people are gonna go play Gambit. It's not a high population playlist because people like it. It's literally a game of would you rather. Do something about that cough. What we are going to be looking at as we tune, amongst other things, we're looking at matchmaking time. Minimize players who cannot find a match in 10 minutes with the goal to keep the average number of 2 minutes and under 4 minutes for 95% of players. I'm curious what they do when people cancel matchmaking and start it over. Because I do that. If matchmaking is taking a long time, then I cancel it and I start it over. Because I know that based on their loose matchmaking criteria, they're expanding the search, and they're finding people in other countries for me to play against. No thanks. I'll pass. Mercy games. Right now, mercy rates vary based on the map as low as 5% and high as 25%. Based on the map, you say, huh? Does B have anything to do with this? You should say this. Mercy games. Right now, mercy rates vary based on Zone B. Chris, see me after class. We believe the number of mercy games should be under 5% on all maps, but not actually hit 0. I'll tell you what. You know how you get that under 5%? Take away the broken maps. Final score differential. In general, games should be closer in score. Right now, 65% of matches end in one team hitting the score target 50% go at a time, and 50% ending with a mercy. I'll bet you what? I'll bet you 15% going at a time has a bunch of Lorelei Titans in it, camping in their little sunspots. Fuck you, people. Our goal is that over 80% of matches end with one team reaching the score target. Not in Clash, though. Did you notice that? And that is why Clash is not the featured mode, because the game has become such garbage with how it plays and how people play it and how the metas have been and how Bungie has trained the player base that when you play Clash, it doesn't go to the score limit. Did you notice that? I never had a problem going to the score limit in Clash and Destiny 1. It was good. It's not good in Destiny 2. And that's why it's not the featured mode, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, you got the sweaties. That's a whole nother issue, is the sweaty community that doesn't want to play Control. Because they want... The reason why the sweaty community doesn't want to play Control is because they want the most kills. They want to sweat. They want... they don't want to have to do objectives and that kind of stuff. Plus connection-based. Our goal is that over 80% of the matches end with one team reaching the score target and most of the rest of the blah, 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 blah. Less variance between top player, bottom player. Right now, 5 to 10% of matches have the best player scoring 30 to 39 more kills than the worst player in the match, and 50% of matches have the best player getting 20 to 29 more kills. A lot of this, what is not mentioned here, and this is something that people lose track of when it comes to Destiny. And I'm going to keep reminding people about it because I seem to be the only person that talks about it. You know what influences this kind of stuff that people don't realize? It used to be bounties. I have not noticed, like the bounties have kind of... I do Crucible bounties, and I don't notice them being a problem as much as they used to. Before, you used to have very specific bounties and even pinnacle weapons. They got rid of that, and I'm glad that they did. But what does influence this are things like catalysts and things that are in the game. When you get a new weapon, that weapon usually has a catalyst that falls with it. Or a bow. Or, I don't know, leveling up a fucking bow for a pattern. For a weapon pattern. Right? People often use weapons they're not comfortable with because they have to. Guess what? Guess what? They're not going to do as good with a bad weapon that they have to level up or they have to unlock the pattern for because they got to grind. So they're probably going to shit the bed. You don't have that in other games. You don't have that in games that are not loot-based games. Call of Duty, you level up a weapon, but it's still good. The weapon is still good. Anyway, we believe that 90% of matches should have less than 20. There's just, again, there's a lot here that causes this. All of this is great, but there's some things it does not address that we'll be looking toward. Maybe that's what they're talking about here. Good. Glad we're on the same page. Skill distribution. How much more of this do I have to read? Hey, don't you knock Scorched? Battle Royale and EDZ with combined arms using Sparrow? They could. They totally could. They could do a lot of different things. Again, a lot of different things. Maybe I'll start making videos of us sort of simulating those things to show people how good that would be. And for some reason, my Destiny is not responding. Thank you. Awesome. Anyway. As we discussed in the skill section, player skill in Destiny in most games tend to allow a bell curve centered around 100. This means that half the player... We just call this IQ. Instead of skill, we should call it IQ because it's not skill, it's strategy and IQ. Knowing how to play the game, knowing what to use, your build, all that kind of stuff. IQ level. That means that half of the players are clustered between IQ level of -100 and IQ of 300, and just 1% above 800 or lower than 550. It's IQ now, chat. That's what we're calling it. IQ level. When you do IQ-based matchmaking with IQ windows, what ends up happening is that players at either end of the bell curve have fewer potential players to match against and thus potentially take longer to find a match with good connection, blah, blah, blah. Future season, we're hoping to introduce some technology that allows us to search a wider IQ variance based on your position in the IQ curve and keep matchmaking times more consistent with the downside of loosening some match fairness. You have already said that. Fire team, here we go. Fire team size mismatches. You're welcome, ASMR weirdos. It's no mystery that full fire teams often stomp 6 solo players who match against them. Yeah, you're right. Ironically, we just started doing that. And lo and behold, now they're talking about it. What can I say except you're welcome? I'm the player that brings change to this game, chat. Apology accepted. 6 solo players match against them. Fire teams that are used to playing together may also be in voice chat with each other. Yes. Allowing them to communicate more effectively than those who are not. Yes. Oddly enough, if we look at the average skill for solo players, it fits the bell curve from above clearly. If we look at the average skill for full fire teams in control, let me guess. It's less. It's less. Is it less? Is it less? I'm guessing it's less. Is it less? Is it less? You see the bell curve centers around 400 or 500. So not only do the fire teams have a communication advantage, but they also have a decisive skill advantage. I was hoping it would be less, but I can understand that it's more. Why is it more? Because high-skilled players are being set up to lose because, as you mentioned earlier, they have to do the carry, and they're tired of being set up in rigged matches. Ding, 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 ding. They're tired of rigged fucking matches. So like I just started doing a couple weeks ago is I've been putting people on my team so that your fucking rigged matchmaking can't screw me over anymore. Ironic? Where's Alanis Morissette, don't you think? The big question is, are high-skilled players more inclined to play in fire teams? Or do regular fire teams make your skill go up? I just answered your question. Why don't they call me? Why don't they call me? Bungie. Here, I'm going to give you guys my phone number, all right? Bungie, this is for your eyes only, okay? Feel free to call me. Call me and ask for help, okay? Ask for badass. Okay? Number, chat, close your eyes, please. Don't look at this. Do not pass this along. My number, Bungie, if you want to call me, 911 or alternate number 988. Feel free, toll free. I'll foot the bill. Call me. Call me, ask for me, okay? I will tell you all these things, man. You guys, you have so many questions you want answered. I have the answers for you. It's no mystery that full fire... Oh, I already read that. Either way, we will be implementing a form of fire team size preferred matching in Season 19. This is good. We'll be sharing details about how it works closer to release. Our goal is for it to be utilized like skill, sometimes as a strict requirement, sometimes as a loose one. This is good. 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 That is our current plan going forward. We'll keep you updated. So for this, I am giving my patented thumbs up, thumbs down. You did good and you did bad all at the same time. You did good, but you shit the bed, right? There's a turd in the bed. I appreciate all of this, but it's late. We needed this a long time ago, guys. I think everybody would agree we needed this years ago. And maybe we wouldn't be in such a bad place for the game. And I know they're trying to coincide it close to, we've got a new raid coming up, and we've got Lightfall coming up, new expansions, and they're hoping to lure players, but you wouldn't have lost so many players, man. We would have a healthy game right now. I would be your mouthpiece, yelling at people to come play the game, making kick-ass videos, making awesome videos of, hey, look how much fun this game is, instead of don't fucking play it, right? When you go to Twitter, and all the replies, when you say, hey, go play Crucible or go play Gambit, when all of the replies are fucking no and cringe and depression, when all the replies are fucking no, how about no? You fucking fucked up. It's not just me, guys. If you don't like it, don't play it. Guess what? Way ahead of you. Way ahead of you. Appreciate the memes. Look at this. Look at this. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Some of these players would be like, yeah! I'd rather build a brick wall. Right? There's a reason why I've been yelling for so long about this shit. Seriously. 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 It's not because we don't love the game. It's because the game fucking sucks. There's a difference. There's a difference, people. There's a difference. Anyway. Good job. You're late. Good job. You're late. All right. I'm excited. I am excited. I'm still waiting for... we posted a video about a leak. The Destiny leak. That talked about things that were coming to Destiny that are going to take time for them to implement. Rift was one of those things. We saw Rift. In this leak, they talked about a gun mode. No abilities. A gun-only mode. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting. Is this on? I'm waiting. This is why I will always play this game, because I love this game. I just want it to be good, and sometimes it's not good. Right now, it's not good, and it has not been good for a very long time, and I am waiting for the day when it becomes good, and when it becomes good, I will be the first one to fucking pump it up, hype it up, do 24-hour streams if I have to, man. I will put my body on the line for a good Destiny game. We all love this game. We all want this game to be good, and here's the deal, guys. When it comes to feedback, okay? Everybody starts feedback by saying please. Feedback always starts with please, okay? This is very important for all of you to know out there when it comes to video games. Developers, players, listen up. Okay, I want to say this. Let me make sure. Hold on. Okay. Feedback always starts with please. It usually, most times, always starts with please, okay? When people feel like they're not heard, when people feel like they're not appreciated, when people feel like they don't matter, when people feel like they're being slighted against, that's when the please turns into a demand. And when those demands are not met, it escalates. Everything escalates, right? Escalates, 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 escalates. Okay? I know there's been a whole lot of shit going on in the community. I have said many times that Destiny has one of the most toxic fucking communities I've ever been a part of. They do great things. Bungie does great things. A lot of Destiny streamers do great things. There are some great and amazing fucking people in this community, and they should be promoted and hyped up. But there is an ugly, it's like the dark web. There's an ugly side to this fucking community. Y'all are fucking shit stains in the community of Destiny, and you don't deserve the fucking time of day. That's why I don't mention your name. That's why I don't give you the time of day. That's why I don't talk about you, because you're out there constantly trying to be toxic. And they're out there, and you guys all know about them by now, and it's happened many times. But don't let one bad apple spoil the bunch. You can't. Every game has toxic community members. And you have to account for them, but you cannot determine your course of action because of them. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have cheat software in the game. You have to just know there are going to be shit people, okay? But when it comes to feedback, you have to communicate with your audience more. I know there are people that have given Bungie developers a hard time, and I'm sure I've been one of those people at times. Not on purpose, but it comes from a place of frustration. I've never said anything to any specific developer ever. I've never done that because it's never personal. It's just this game sucks. What the fuck are you guys doing? How do you guys have a job when you're making bad decisions? How are you not talking to us after years and years and years and years? That kind of stuff is normal and that kind of stuff is okay. We do it for football coaches. We do it for basketball coaches. We do it for presidents. We do it for senators. We do it for managers at our employment. That is normal fucking shit. Okay? That is not toxic. But when you step over that and you start making it personal to people, fuck you. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. But at the same time, people want their voice to be heard, especially in something that they love. I love this fucking game. I want this game to be good. And when something is bad, at first you give it a pass, right? As a normal gamer who loves a game, when something's bad, you're like, it happens. The more that happens, then it starts to wear on you as a player. And what you loved gets tainted. And the more that gets tainted, you start voicing your concern. Hey, this sucks. Hey, I love your game, but this sucks. I love your game, but this sucks. Hey, I love your game, but this sucks. And the longer that goes on sucking, the louder people get. And you start getting Reddit posts and you start getting more toxicity. And there's always going to be toxic players out there. But when the good players, when the people that love the game start getting like super frustrated and burnt out, and when people are jumping off the game, and when people, you just get nope. When the outrage gets to 11, you've waited way too long. Sorry, waited way too long. Bungie has amazing developers, amazing artists, amazing employees. But they're very, 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 very bad at some very, very basic business practices. That is no secret, going all the way back to Halo and Microsoft, okay? If you do any type of research, they've had issues with scrapping story, with starting over, with being late for deadlines, with communication between departments, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean the people are bad people. It just means there's some organizational issues. And there's also some bad decisions that have been made. In other words, like what is prioritized and what is not prioritized? What is allowed? What is not allowed? How do you go years without having anti-cheat software? How do you go years with allowing people to see IP addresses? How do you go years without any form of anonymous streamer mode in your fucking game? Fortnite, you can go anonymous. Call of Duty, you can go anonymous. Other games, you could go anonymous. Destiny, hey, guess what? And I know that's a little thing, but this type of communication, Bungie, you can't allow fucking shit stains, anonymous fucking losers on the internet to keep you from being the best company you can possibly be. Fuck them. I have people trying to stream snipe me all the time. I have people trying to troll me all the time. I have people trying to cancel me all the time. You think that stops me from being me? You can't. You can't allow that to stop you. You can't allow that to stop your communication. You can't allow that to stop your features. You can't allow that to stop your updates. You can't allow that to affect being a good business and great developers. We love you. We want the best for the game. And when we feel like you guys don't give a shit, or there are things that could be fixed and you just don't care, then what the fuck are we doing with our time? So I really hope this game, I hope this game becomes great again, because right now it's not. The legendary campaign of Witch Queen is one of the best campaigns I've ever played. I will say when something is amazing. Best campaign ever. I will say when something is amazing, and I will tell you when something is dog shit. And that is not to be mean. That is like to encourage something to be better. I say the same thing about my videos. All right, there are some videos that I've made that are amazing, and there are some videos that I've made that are dog shit. But I always try and do better. And I think if you're watching this right now, we all want this game to be good. Right? I'm excited. I really hope it is. I really want all these things. It's been too long. It's been way too long. how many years without a new map? And the new map that we got is made for one mode, and that mode is only Rift is only around once every month, 2 months, whatever. Anyway, interesting, very, very interesting.